All right. Episode 121, I believe, of the BFR podcast presented by Sports Mockery is here. We are going to preview Bears versus Lions. We have Ficky, Chicago Bears content creator, like always with us. And of course, Jack is here. Our producer is on the sticks. Also going to give some of his insight before this Bears-Lions matchup. It's a very big one, of course, at least for the Lions.
As a say for who?
Division. Of course, my name is Dave, cover the Bears for SM. The show is presented by Sports Mockery as well. So again, check out all of their work, all of what they do, any type of sports news over there. Of course, you can find it. So we appreciate them. And here we are, boys. Bears-Lions Part 2. As the Chicago Bears social put it. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did.
That graphic they put. I was like, Part 2, man. I don't want to see this
sequel. Over Part 1. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't think I want to see that. I will not buy. I will not be buying the ticket. No, we will all be watching.
That's a good point, Dave. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, I get it. That's what they got to do, right? They got to be positive. I'm like, bro, the
poor marketing team.
Yeah.
All of us are here. No cuts or anything like that. Jack, Dave, Vicky will be here. No, but for real, I kind of wanted to address it a little bit. So much change. It's such a cutthroat business, in regards to just the media in general. So a lot of changes, with CHGO, a couple other podcasts. Rob Schmidt's retiring 2 weeks ago. I just feel like it's just been a lot of change all at once, especially with the Bears. You throw in the Bears team as well, which I think they kind of play a part in some of these departures, because of how bad they were. But seriously, we appreciate all the support. The season is almost here, almost to the end. We're going to get to the fun part, which is, I guess, the offseason and draft. But we appreciate the support. Again, road to 10,000 subs is almost there. So, again, I just want to say before we kind of hop into all of this is that I appreciate each and every one of you that kind of tune in, like, comment, whether it's on X, YouTube, Facebook. We appreciate y'all. And now before we hop in, Ficky, Jack, how y'all doing?
Man, I'm doing good, but it's really – the real question is how am I going to be doing in about 3 hours? Because I'm a Hoosier alum, born and raised in the state of Indiana, went to IU, and they're playing the biggest game of their life in about an hour. And my anxiety is through the roof. And it's also an Indiana clash, which is crazy. Like, of course, they paired us up against Notre Dame, which is like an hour from my hometown. But anyways, I'm excited. But in like 3 hours, that could be completely different. But this is not because of the Bears. If it was how am I feeling about the Bears, the season's over. We talked about it. We're just kind of ready. I'm kind of feeling like DJ Moore. He's like, oh, I can't wait for a vacation, right? Like, come on, bro. We got 3 more. We just got to pump through them. Caleb, don't get injured. Like, get those stats up so we can look at a macro level and say, hey, greatest rookie quarterback ever. But other than that, I'm a little checked out.
I think that's a great transition, Jack, as the DJ Moore expert.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? I bet you were fuming, or just tell me how you were feeling in regards to that vacation comment about DJ Moore that he said earlier this week. If you heard it, did you hear it? I'm sure you have.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah,
the DJ guru got that. Trust me.
Yeah, I got that. I mean, fuck him. Yeah, he's the only person in the entire NFL out of all 32 teams that his ass is like, I'm ready for vacation. Like, dude. Yeah. Next question.
It's kind of tone deaf. It really is. It is. But look, Jack, how are you doing, man? Wrong. You celebrated your 21st. Sorry. Oh, my bad, Vicky.
No,
just trying to celebrate Jack a little bit, but you go ahead.
That's good. Yeah.
No, hey, that's great. Jack, I was gonna say that's great. Celebrate Jack's birthday.
Oh, yeah. No, how you feel, man? 21, right? Or 22? 22. Feeling 22.
We're 22 now. Don't remember too much about Saturday, but that's the purpose of it. That's why we go out and we do things responsibly. But no, it's good. Good week. Not much going on. I feel like sports is at a real low here. I mean, we obviously have football still going on, but it's harder. I don't know if it's just me, but like the vibe that I'm getting for football altogether is like I feel like the playoffs is already set. Like obviously there's teams that are in that hunt, like truly in the hunt, but it feels like at least for the AFC specifically, but like the NFC itself too, it's like we already know probably I don't know. I would
whole
say
NFC
like
North.
Right.
Well,
that's
like
problem.
You got the top leaders for each conference is pretty much locked in. And then the remaining is just the NFC North. You know what I mean? So,
right. That's what I mean. Exactly what I mean. So, sports are slow, but we're hanging in there, killing it still, always.
It is slow. And I think the playoffs has really been set for like the last couple weeks, in my opinion. At least when it comes, it's probably a little biased just because we're Bears fans. We're like really not paying attention too much anymore. Because if we were in the hunt here, I mean, we'd be all over. We'd be watching other games, you know, about seeding and everything like that. I missed that, by the way. It's been 6 years since we had to worry about playoff seeding. Well, no, I guess 2020 counts, but we all knew we were going to sneak in the 7th seed. So again, I can't wait for that moment where we're like doing a pod right here, December 20th, and worried about playoff seeding and implications, right, in these final 3 games. So we'll get there maybe in a decade, but until then, it's Bears versus Lions. The Lions are actually good, and the Bears are, I guess, kind of swapped with the Lions because we are terrible. The Bears are just so bad. It's kind of been a dumpster fire. Before we kind of hop into it, well, I guess we'll do that because I do have 2 big questions I kind of want to ask both Jack and Ficky today. I'll, of course, have my input as well, but they're 2 big questions. I think you guys can participate in as well, but I'm going to save that. Let's hop into this game preview. Let's knock out a couple things, bold predictions and everything like that. And of course, get to the super as well from Tito. So
absolutely. Thank you, Tito, for the super. Really do appreciate that. $5 here. He said, let's get real, boys. Lions are beat up, but we are still taking an L. After hearing all the polls news makes me want to cut them loose. Who's replacing them? Yeah, we could easily still get beat by the Lions, which is crazy. They are the most injured team in the NFL. I don't know how they're even walking afloat. It's every week they have like a major injury, multiple. So that's crazy. And then also your comment about polls. Yeah, we kind of talked about this on the post game last time. We could see it go either way, but stay tuned for future episodes because we'll definitely be doing a deeper dive into that situation for sure. But yeah, thank you, Tito, for the super. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Tito.
Before we go to the game preview, let's go and give an update on where Caleb is at. We didn't do it after last game because it was like midnight, but let's give an update for where he's at with the 4K tracker here. On pace, not looking great, right? His year to date is 209, so it dropped a little bit. And that's because, as you can see, he only had 191 passing yards against Minnesota. And the week before, he had 134. We talked about it. If this man doesn't keep staying within like the 200s, it's going to be very difficult for him to get to 4,000. So at this rate, you have 3 games left, about 1,100 yards he's got to get. That's about an average, I think, of like 370 yards or something like that. Probably not happening, right? Not saying it can't, but it's probably not going to happen. But the good news is that Caleb is still going to end up the year probably above 3,500, probably around 20 touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions. I will count that as a success. But what's most important, if we want to take a look at the QBR tracker, is how Caleb has finished the back half of the year. As we know in the beginning, my God, he started so slow. Those first 3 games were horrific. Then he had a good stretch of 3 games. Actually, that's the last time we won, was that 124 QBR there, week 5 against the Jaguars. And then you can see basically once Thomas Brown became offensive coordinator and then / head coach, which was a week later, he's been around 90, right, or above. And that's great to see, right? The yards may not be there, but he's not making mistakes. He's making good decisions. And so, in this season, as Dave said, that's been horrible, there are little pockets of, success, I would say, specifically to your rookie quarterback. So to say all that, we still got 3 games left. That could change it drastically. He has 3 games. It's very possible 3 games. He goes for like 270 above on each of those. We're going to feel much different about this season because he'll be around like 3,700. So again, a lot of football left to play, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. There was a really cool, am I muted?
No, we can
I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting myself here. It's been a minute as far as muting myself goes, but there was, as far as talk of Caleb Williams, like his QBR is I think is really it's impressive. Of course, there's been ups and downs, but lately, even though they've been losing, he hasn't thrown an interception in his in this 8-game losing streak, and of course his QBR it's been pretty steady. It hasn't really dropped to like those lows, those really those valleys like we saw early and mid season. So that's always interesting. But I want to talk about the end of season pace for both these 3 rookie quarterbacks. One includes Caleb, Bo Nix, and then Jaden Daniels. This is from Nick Whalen, good friend of the show. Jaden Daniels on pace to throw for 3,698 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Bo Nix on pace for 3,609 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Caleb Williams right now at his current pace, 3,566 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I just think it's very interesting because I feel like Caleb, Bo, and Jaden are all viewed differently, or at least Caleb's viewed differently than those other two. And that has to do with, I think, one, Caleb being drafted. He has a very different personality, I would say, which I don't think is that different. I think some people just really just
the perception was
hate.
different.
Yeah,
Way more hate.
So yeah, and it's still there. It's very prevalent. But I think that right there, along with that QBR that you just showed me, and the fact that he is going to have one of the better passing seasons ever by a Bears quarterback, he's probably going to end up in the top 5 already as far as passing yards go. And that's with a very rocky, and that's probably putting it gently, rookie season where we've seen 3 OCs, 2 head coaches. It's kind of bizarre.
Crazy.
So
that is crazy.
You put all that in perspective, it's pretty cool. And we were going to talk about before we kind of went live here, we were talking about what we're going to do, in the off season, planning some of our, projects that we got coming up, some of our shows. And one of them is going to review, the entirety of the season. So give out our grades essentially, and not just grades, but go in depth, analysts, everything, not just a letter grade, but really in depth. So we're looking forward to those episodes. But before I said it, I was like, maybe we can do like a coaches or like front office coaches episode. But I was like, at the same time, man, we're going to be reviewing Matt Eberflus, Thomas Brown, Shane Waldron to Thomas Brown as OC. It's going to be a wild ride in regards to some of these postseason, grades and analysts. So, or,
analysis.
I think analysis. Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm excited. I'm very kind of optimistic heading into this game. So if you want to finish maybe the game preview, maybe I'll change my tune here, but let's take a look at it.
Let's take a look at that game preview.
Go
ahead. Yeah.
No.
Gun to your head. Both your heads. I'm sitting there. I got dual wields. I just got you both held up.
How do we end up in that situation? No, go ahead.
Is Caleb right now, if we're looking for the foreseeable future, is Caleb Williams the best quarterback to come out of that 2024 draft?
I still think it's too early to tell.
I know, but like today. Like if you
had to make a gut decision.
I'd probably take Daniels. I'd take Daniels. I'm going Daniels. But I don't think that's different than what my answer will be in 4 years.
Sure,
I still
absolutely. I'm just saying today.
But right now, based off the team he's on, the coaching he's had, the taking in the environment, it's not just taking the person out of it. The situation, I got to go Daniels.
I understand that. I get it. However, I'm going to disagree because I think I'm going to go Caleb here. I know I'm biased. Like I'm a Bears fan, but just from a talent perspective, that hasn't changed. I always knew, that it was going to take time with Caleb, not because of Caleb, but because of where he's at. The stability of a franchise is so important for rookie quarterbacks. And the fact that Caleb's having a pretty decent year, a pretty good year, in my opinion, I just kind of labeled off where all 3 of those quarterbacks are projected to end the season. And you could say right now, Caleb's had the worst year around him out of the 2. And so,
at least offensive
for me, I think just one, you bring in a Ben Johnson, which that's my go-to. That's my guy. That's who I want to see here. But you bring in anybody like a Ben Johnson or whoever's brought in is going to be a better caliber, better suited than Matt Eberflus and that staff that was here his rookie year. So for me, I'm excited to kind of see what that translates. And I think it can only, realistically, as you think about this, it has to only help him. It should only elevate his game right now because what he's dealt with has been chaotic. We've talked about it several times, so I'm not going to keep hounding on it. But I would say it would go for me, Caleb, Jaden, Bo. However, I think this has a chance to be. I mean, you talk about JJ McCarthy. Now you got Michael Penix. Spinks.
Well, better than the other alternative.
Penix Jr.
IU alum.
I think this could be a very, very not elite class, but a great class outside of just everyone. We don't know what JJ is going to look like, but seriously,
I think it's going to be on the lookout for, though, too, is that there have been some classes like that where the first year you got 3 or 4 guys that look good, and then the second year you really only see the 1 or 2
Mac Jones
to it. Yeah,
so that's a cautionary tale.
And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. The thing is, that's why Dave and I both said too early to tell. But also I want to say, if I'm doing a redraft and we're still picking on one, I'm picking Caleb. There's no question. It's not that hasn't shifted in a way where I'm I'd rather have Daniels, and I'm not taking Bo because Bo's a yak king. You see his stat line last night. Yeah. Brand had 200
of yak.
Yeah, he had 230 passing yards or something like that. And he's had a good year. I'm not dissing him, but 200 of them were after the catch. That's crazy.
And win and losses are not, for me, they don't determine a quarterback. Like, because even if you want to talk about it, like Jaden should have lost to Caleb on that 101, right? But again, it doesn't really matter as far as that lines up because there's so many other factors, variables. Yeah. However, I just think in my heart right now, I believe Caleb is just going to be the top of the class unless the Bears get it wrong. Like if they somehow mess this entire thing up this offseason, because it's such a pivotal decision-making process for the Bears. Like they have to get this right. Otherwise, I mean, they're probably they're going to screw up one of the best prospects they've ever had. So, however, I could see this one really being like, you know how like Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees at the tail end of the year, where it was like they almost like every year was like fluctuate. Like Drew had like an insane year, and then it was Peyton for like 2 years, and then you had like Phillip Rivers had like some crazy accomplishments as far as like passing yards. Yeah. Brady went to. I'm not saying they're going to be like that caliber, but I feel like they might just fluctuate where like Jaden's really good this year, or they're all kind of close. Jaden could have like an MVP year. Caleb could maybe have an MVP year. Bo Nix could maybe be competing for an MVP, win it. I just feel like the talent there and the ceiling for a lot of these young quarterbacks in this class is very, very high potential.
Yeah, they'll be like normally it takes about a quarterback like 5 to 6 years and they start like peaking like that. So around like 26, 27, that's when we saw Pat Mahomes, even Allen. Lamar peaked a little bit earlier, mostly with his legs, but then his arm developed later. But like if you look at those three right now that are running the league and have been for the past couple of years, they're all 27 to 30 years old. So it's very
Sam
much
Darnold's 27, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. That just tells you though, because they come in so early, right? Caleb came at 22, so 5 years now. That's a lot of time. So I agree with you, Dave. We could see that. The best thing about the NFL, though, is you never really know. It's every year you show up and you just never really have an idea. But once they hit it, you're kind of like, okay, that's the guy. And the good thing that we were talking, well, my biggest question I wanted to answer going into this season or by the end of it was the quarterback to show me at least enough. I don't have to walk away and be like, build the statue, right? But I wanted to walk away and be like, okay, we can start maybe designing one. You know what I mean? Like the very early stages where you're like, okay, you're enough for me to consider. Like I don't have a ton of flags that I have to worry about or questions that are unanswered. And I think we're seeing that. The biggest one is just like his accuracy, his deep ball accuracy. He's got to get that down. But like overall, I think you guys would agree, but we all feel like Caleb is the future. And that's all we needed, to be honest, because we have not felt that in a while. So, or if ever.
Well said. So. No, we have I've never felt it.
Yeah. So fun. All right, let's get into the game overview though. What everyone's been waiting for to see the footballs. Let's go.
Wait, do we have injury report?
We do. You want to hit those first?
Yeah, let's hit that. Let's knock that out because I mean that's going to play a really.
Let's do that first.
So Bears, wow. Ryan Bates, what a signing, right? He's out, concussion. Travis Homer, doubtful hamstring. Jalen Johnson,
he got
an illness, and he's questionable. Yeah, that's me too, man. Javon Dexter Sr., limited. He did not practice Wednesday or Thursday, but limited on Friday. Questionable. Tevin Jenkins, questionable. Braxton Jones is questionable as well. Jenkins,
that's great to see.
Though. Jones is with a concussion. Yep, full is nice. Man, I want Braxton Jones back so bad. I cannot take another. Maybe it's Larry Borum though this week if he cannot go instead of Kareem Amagaji or oh my gosh, Roshan Johnson concussion. He was full. He's actually has no injury status, which is great. Mercedes Lewis and Darrell Taylor as well. Both are going to be playing. So I mean, it's not terrible, not great. We'll see kind of what happens with Jalen. That's a big one. I mean, because the Lions. Their defense is banged up. A lot of people on IR there, but I mean, their offense is full strength. So not having JJ will be.
Oh, that'd be
wow.
Horrible.
Pray for Tyreek Stevenson. That's all I got to say.
And Terrell Smith. We're going to get cooked out there.
God, dude. Yeah. Terrell Smith. I thought he'd be better, man.
I don't think he's got enough snaps. He's been,
yeah, it's hard to look at his snap count.
Yeah. He never plays a full game. He normally they'll take Tyreek out and then he'll get a couple plays.
He's had a couple what the hell is going on here? Same with our linebackers though. So.
And Tyreek.
Yeah, let's go to the Lions injury report, which is always smaller than ours. I do appreciate the graphic here though, but not the best. David Montgomery's out, which is kind of sucks. And I was being a former Bear, but there actually was some good news that came out that he actually might come back for the playoffs. So that's good because the first reports were that he was out for the season. And then you have a neck injury with Jalen Reeves-Maybin. He's out. And then this is a big one here. Brian Branch has been a very dominant piece on that defense for the Lions. All right. And he has a calf and he's questionable. So if he doesn't play, that's huge. Then you have Graham Glasgow with a knee here. He's questionable. And Afitu Melifonwu, I think, questionable with the hand. So the injury reports kind of look the same. One really important player in your secondary injured on both sides. That's questionable. Some people that are out that have been out. So it's not breaking news to anyone. And then a couple other questionable ones where you're just
the entire defensive line for the Lions is backups.
Crazy.
So,
but our offensive line as a starter is backup. So.
Yeah. What, Jack?
All right, Jack, go ahead.
They have 20 people on IR. They lead the league in it.
And we're going to lose by 20.
That's it.
1 point for each IR, man. That's how.
I hope.
Speaking of 20, let's go ahead and take a look at this game overview. A little sneak peek here. Well, you look at all those footballs. I mean, my gosh, at 20 on that side. Look, and like Dave said, their offense is still humming, right? David Montgomery's out, but still got Jahmyr Gibbs, still got all their weapons. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league, and they still have Ben Johnson at the helm. And I mean, they're passing. They're second in the NFL, rushing their top 6, blocking. They've been okay, which is kind of not usual for the line. It's not like they're bad, but like for the talent they have, you think they'd be a little bit better. And then the defensive side, they've got 3. Their pass rush is middle of the pack. Their run defense is still better than ours. And their pass defense is actually better than ours now because our pass defense has been not great the past 2 games, ever since Flus has been fired. Funny enough, on our side, the balls just it's been 12 3 weeks in a row. Like the balls just like shift from one to the other, which means that we're still garbage. We're not getting, if we get better somewhere else, we get worse somewhere else. We're not great. This team is not good. And the football show it.
Can you explain? I don't think I've asked this. How do you get these metrics? Like you don't have to go in great detail, but just so for our viewers know, like how are you deciding the getting, how to add a ball, take a ball away? That type of thing.
That's a great question. Probably should start with that from like the first week, but basically, I go through NFL Pro. They have like pro analytics and they kind of grade, right? They rank them like 1 through 32 because there's 32 teams. I then created my own system for basically if you're top 1 or 2 in the category, you get 5. So it's very hard to get 5 footballs, right? So when you see a 5 footballs, you're like, oh my God, like that's a dominant team. Like the Lions passing game, they're number 2, so they get 5. I think it's like 3 through 8 gets you 4, like 8 through 14 is like 3, and then 15 through like 22 is 2, and then like 22 to like 26 I think is 1, and then if you're 26 or like worse, I think it might be 27. Basically, if you're bottom 5, you get 0. So basically, if you're bottom 10, the best you can get is like 1 football, and if you're top 20, the best you can get, or top 22, the worst you can get is 3 footballs. So I feel like that's like a fair distribution because normally if you're bottom 10, you're like garbage, so you shouldn't get any to begin with. But great question. Great.
I just want to. I think you've said it before, but I think it's a good thing.
I don't think I have. At least I didn't tell the.
I just take it as your Bible, dude. I'm just like I know you. I know there's research and analysts around this. I believe it with my soul.
To be fair, it hasn't disappointed us yet, and I'll say this. It's going to happen at some point, but and we keep losing, so maybe this isn't a good a metric, but every time a team has had more footballs than us, they've beaten us. But we've also lost to like everyone, so I don't know how fair of a grading scale it is, but it is interesting to see.
It is interesting. Well,
we suck.
Well, speaking of interesting, let's go ahead and go to our ad read, and then we'll move on to our bold predictions, our score predictions, and of course headlines for Monday.
Let's do it. First off, thank you all for joining us today on the show. I know that like there's a big football game coming on now, so you taking time on a Friday, we really appreciate it. Also, I know it's Friday before the holidays, so people be traveling, people be relaxing. So the fact that you took time to spend time with us, we really do appreciate that here on the BFR podcast. Because again, we can't have this show without you because this is the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. Again, the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, because Dave, Jack, and I are fans just like you. So we appreciate it.
It's questionable right now.
Well, our fandom is slowly slipping away, or sanity, whatever goes first. But if this is your first, if you're a sicko like us, and this is your first time watching, please give a hashtag #NewFaceGang in the chat on YouTube, and Jack will make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time and you've been here multiple times, first off, thank you. Please give a hashtag OG in the comments and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show, like we do every episode. When you guys put those hashtags in there, we throw them up on there. Same with your comments, questions. We love when we have the chat rolling and you guys are leading the conversation. So please keep that active. We really do appreciate that. Also, if you could like and subscribe, that is free and is FTA, which is for the algorithm. It helps this show get out to more fans like y'all, more sickos out there that want to come to a place to really get a fandom and build a community. And that's what we're here to do. So like and subscribe. We really do appreciate that. And you don't even have to do it now. You can wait right before the show's over, like it after, whatever. It still helps out the show. It's free. It takes 2 seconds and it gets out to like-minded individuals like us. So thank you so much for that. Also, if you're here if you're still here during the ad read, go ahead and give a hashtag FGB. We know what that stands for in the chat because it's always F Green Bay over here on the BFR podcast. Okay. It is definitely getting cold. It is cold. I think it's snowing up. I moved to the south.
In Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, it's snowing in Chicago right now. I know that for a fact. I know it's snowing in Indiana too, but you need to stay warm. And there's only one way to do that. That is going to the BFRstore.com and buying yourself a nice warm cut of cozy. That's what I'm looking for. Cozy hoodie. We also have hats, beanies, shirts, anything you want. I know it's holiday season. So if you want to get something for your fam, your friends, everybody in between, you can do that. All the proceeds from the store, the BFRstore.com, come right back into the show to make this show even better for y'all, bring more value for y'all, and just keep delivering some great content. So if you want to do that, go to the BFRstore.com. We really do appreciate it. But you know what? If you don't want to buy some merch, there is another way that you can get some merch. And that's by joining the BFR Den on Patreon. And you're wondering, Ficky, why is that? Because we have monthly giveaways on there. We have private Zoom calls. We have mailbag episodes and much more to come. We actually just did our giveaway. And Michael, our Hall of Fame Patreon member, which I'll give a shout out here in a second again, actually won. So you can join. We have 2 tiers. We have a rookie tier. We have a Hall of Fame tier. And speaking of the Hall of Fame tier, let's give a shout out to our 2 Hall of Fame members. We have Michael, who's all the way across the pond in UK. Shouts out to you, Michael. And then Gage, our first member of the Patreon, OG member of the Patreon. We really do appreciate that, Gage. Appreciate both of you for being Hall of Fame Grizzlies. The Hall of Fame tier costs like $10. And with that, what's special about this one is you get a monthly Zoom call with Dave, Jack, and I. So literally we get on a Zoom and talk whatever we want to talk about for 30 minutes. It's been fun, fantastic. It's great getting to know y'all. And I know Michael's not in here, but he always talks about in the chat, and Gage too, if you're in here, they always talk about how great it is. So if you want to join $10 a month, also you can win that back from some merch in your first month. So definitely worth it. And then if you don't want to go the high tier, we do have a lower tier for you, $3 a month here. This is the Brooklyn Grizzlies tier. So shout out to Alex, Brian, Chris, Jason, and Eston. With this tier, you're still getting a bunch of great stuff, access to our private Discord. You're getting entered into the monthly giveaways. You still get the mailbag episodes. So definitely a bunch of great value there. For $3, come on, that's easy. So if you want to join, please go to the BFR Den on Patreon. Again, that's the BFR Den on Patreon. You can join for free as well. There's a free tier if you just want to hop in there and see what we have going on. And we post our monthly calendars all the time for the free members. So you can see like, oh, this is what they got cooking up this month. So go ahead, go over there. It's free. I know there's a lot of free members as well. So we really do appreciate y'all in there. But yeah, we appreciate all the support to this day. And then we got a comment here from our OG member, our Hall of Fame Patreon. Gage said, yes, sir. People need to join. Come talk Bears with us. It's the cheapest therapy you'll ever pay for. That is a fact. That is the cheapest therapy you will ever pay for. I love that. That's a great tagline. Thank you, Gage.
Absolutely. Yeah, well done, Fig. Like I said, again, I know it's the holiday, so if you can, we don't need anything. You don't have to buy anything. If you could just hit that like button, like I said, that's good enough for us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Comment, be engaged. I mean, you guys do a great job, so we appreciate it. Hopefully, the off season's more fun than this season. Of course, we'll be looking forward to next year as well, where I think the hype will be just as much as it was heading in this year. Maybe some people will be more cautious, maybe even us 3 here, but we appreciate it. And no,
Jack's shaking his head no. I'm out.
So let's get to our bold predictions here, our game predictions, and of course followed by our headlines for Monday. So
yeah, boys, it's not looking great. I swear we just keep losing with this team. But well, I say, Jack, you're leading the pack 4-9. not too far behind with a 410, and then Dave's at 2 and 12.
And people may ask, why does Jack not have 4? There has to be. I think he missed a bold prediction here. Like he just missed the show. He's lazy. We get it, and he just didn't show up. Never sent it in. And so that's why he's 4 and 9. Some people are calling it, sketchy, sus. That he did this on purpose.
There's been some talk and chatter around on the interwebs. So.
Yeah, there's been lots.
A lot of my people are telling me that I did do it and it just didn't count because it won, and you guys, it was like week 2 or something. You guys were just pissed about
that's fine. We might have to bring the commissioner.
That's what some of my fans are saying. I get emails all the time, texts, and they're like, "Yo, heard about this bold take bullshit." So,
wouldn't that be crazy if people were actually reaching out about that though? That is a wild concept. If you are, we appreciate it. Actually, let us know in the chat what's the real side. Is it that Jack got it right, or we admitted the
I couldn't even tell you, man. This season's been such a crap show.
But either way, I was gonna say we have a collective 10 wins together. So we hit double digits.
More than the Bears.
Double digit season, baby. I mean, it took 3 of us, but we'll count it. So speaking of horrible takes, let's go to mine. Let's see what I got here. All right. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking here. I said offense scores 3
I thought it said 1 touchdown, and I was like, get out of here.
Offense scores 3 touchdowns. I think that's bold. We haven't done that in a minute. So
Bears offense or Lions?
Oh, no, Lions is getting 3.
All right.
Yeah, no. That's easy money.
Try to make sure here.
No, not the number 2 passing offense in the NFL, like 3. Oh, watch out. No. The Bears getting 3 touchdowns. That is hard for us to do. Okay. So that's my bold take. What about you, Dave?
Let's see here. Bears cover spread 6.5. I think that's pretty bold.
Plus,
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
What is
you even got some favor because it dropped a point when I was making it when you sent it in. It was like 7.5, and then it dropped.
There's 6.
Yeah. Well, DraftKings. Oh no! The spread. Yeah, we would be plus 6.5. Yeah, the Bears would be plus 6.5.
But it was actually 6.5 when I saw it too.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know it was 7.5. I like that.
ESPN, because they have a betting line now. Of course, theirs was like 7.5. So
what?
I saw that this morning, but it doesn't matter. Either way,
if you're on FanDuel and you press 6.5, you don't get to change it to 7.5, similar to the bold take situation. Just
it's not going to change. Yeah, we're locking it in at that. It's not going to shift that much. If anything, it's going to get worse.
Bears cover. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Not going to cover. So that's a bold take. That's a bold take. So.
My new strategy for this is to stop taking Bears players to do anything. So we're going to do Jared Goff 3 touchdowns, 300 plus yards. He's going to go Goff. That's all I'll say about that. I don't even know
if that's legal. There's nothing in our bylaws that say that, but next year we got to keep it only Bears.
I think I did the others because I think I had Bears. Well, I said Bears defense gives up 400, but that's the same as saying whoever they were facing gets 400.
Yeah, but you rephrased it better. Yeah.
Bears defense gives
up 3 touchdowns to Jared Goff.
All about the wording, but that's fine.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Very possible. Actually, I think that's like
what was it? 300 yards, 3 touchdowns?
That could happen.
That's a normal game for Goff sometimes.
Not against us, though, to be fair. Not against us. That's true. Goff plays 4. Even this year. Even this year, he didn't play like.
Is this in Chicago? No, this is in.
No, it is.
Oh, it is?
Because remember, we played in Thanksgiving.
Oh, we might win. Or we're going to play him tight.
Well, I hope so. That's your bold take. He said that's your bold take, bro.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about that is love Bears fans till the day I die. Like, I am one of you. You are one of me. Any of those motherfuckers that go into that stadium and pay McCaskey's electrical bill this month, I hate you. Don't go to the game. Please sell a ticket, give it away or something, but don't go. This is what Chicago does because our fans are too loyal and we care too much and we're too excited to watch our team play.
Not a fun experience. It's a cool experience.
It's a cool. There you go.
It'd be really cool.
It's fun the first 3 minutes, Dave. It's fun.
Yeah. And it's gonna be cold as hell.
You know what though, Jack? I was a part of that problem. Last year, Bears obviously were on a losing streak. They're out of it. Christmas Day, because that was on Sunday, or Christmas Eve was on Sunday. Bears play Bills in Chicago. I go to that game with my friend. There's I bet you less than half the stadium's full. It's fucking -2 degrees out, and Bears get killed. So I can't even stand on a pedestal and talk about it because I literally am the sicko that does that. So I want to apologize first off for feeding the pockets of the McCaskies for that. So I will take accountability for my actions. So I want to apologize before I get canceled. So.
Very brave of you. Very brave.
Thank you. Oh man, this team.
All right, let's get to our game predictions now. This is where I think it's interesting.
It does.
Ficky, what do we got here?
I got 28-24. So if my bold take is 3 touchdowns, I mean, you got to get at least 21. And maybe they get lucky with a field goal. This would feed your bold take, Dave, but I don't know why it is with the Lions. I don't know what it is with the Lions, but we've played them close in 3 straight games. And timeout. 3 straight games we played them close. We won 1 and literally could have won the other 2. Like, we're in position to win it. Not like, we had to march down the field. No, we were literally on the 20-yard line for both games, and we lost. So, I don't know. Goff, we have this kryptonite or something against him. He forgets how to play football. So I don't know what's wrong with it. It's a division game. Maybe they just don't get it right. But I think because of that, we play close, but we ultimately lose.
This would satisfy.
What a word. But yeah, it would. I would get all 3 of them.
It's true. 31 Lions 31, Bears 27. I think this is a close one as well. I mean, the Lions are down so many key starters, man, like really, really good players. I just think the Bears they should be able to score some points. I mean, God, you would hope they could score some points on this defense. You're at home as well. If this was the road, I think the Bears lose by 21 plus, but you're at home. I think they play a little bit better. I think Goff, we do have his number. I'm a little worried about Flus being gone because, I mean, I'm not really trusting this defense. I know they played a little bit better last week, but I mean, they've given up 30 plus since Flus has been gone each game. So, and now you have a high-powered, octane, pretty damn healthy outside of Montgomery offense in Detroit. I think it could be a shootout. However, I still think it's going to be close no matter what. And I'm really putting a lot of faith in Caleb and that Bears offensive line and Thomas Brown to produce this week. So if there's drops and whatnot, of course, man, this could be looking ridiculous, but I've looked ridiculous a lot this year. So, yeah. Jack.
We all.
Mine's a bit worse in favor of the Bears, 41-24. I think the Lions, like you just said, full power offense. The injury report does not favor us in terms of defense. I think Jalen Johnson getting a DNP is brutal on the last day of practice. It's not ideal. So, I mean, say he doesn't play. I have not a single answer as to how he could stop the Lions offense on a single drive. No idea. I think even without Monty, like Jahmyr Gibbs is feasible.
You got to declare an onside kick every.
That'd be awesome. Just every single kickoff.
Got to try. Steal possession.
I mean, Campbell. Be careful. Campbell might do that. He loves to do his onsides in the middle.
I wish they could. I wish you didn't have to declare. I wish you could just surprise people like you typically are used to, because that's just like the most like electric feeling. Like, you're just expecting to kick off, and all of a sudden it's onside kick, man.
It's hard now because the kicker's so far back. You know what I mean? Because the line, it'd be weird, but yeah, that was nice. I always remember the Sean Payton one in the Super Bowl that he did against the Colts when he was the head coach of the Saints.
Stole possession. That's because the
game too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Game. Okay, let's go to the headlines here. Yeah, this is where I'm at. Is it 2025 yet?
I thought it said yeet.
Is it 2025? Yeet. Look, which is funny because it's a newspaper, so it'd have the date literally right underneath it. But I think we all understand this sentiment. Like, we're over this season. The season is officially dead. What's sad is typically we have like a storyline to look out for, right? Even at the end of last season, as crazy as it got, like there was still the storyline of like, we have to watch Fields because like, is he going to be the quarterback next year? Right.
Well, it's the great QB debate.
Right. This, like, there's not the storyline. I guess we do have one is coaching, but like, we can't do anything about that until literally the season's over. There's nothing we can watch in these games that will help influence.
It's not true. Well, I mean, it is true. Do you remember? I think it was Kevin O'Connell. He was actually playing for San Francisco, or where did he come from? He was in the Super Bowl last year. Right?
Not Stefanski?
No,
O'Connell?
Kevin O'Connell.
No, Kevin
Yeah.
O'Connell's been the head coach for the Vikings for a couple years now.
Well, back when we hired Flus.
Oh,
that when they took?
Yeah, that's when that happened. Yeah, okay, sorry. You're saying
So
back
he
when they
was-
win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
got
Let me
plucked. Yes,
be
yes.
specific. Yeah. So he was. They never interviewed him. Is what I'm trying to say. Is Kevin
Yes.
O'Connell? They didn't wait. So
Correct.
I'm just saying. And now he's.
Yeah, the
coaching
thing
your
is though,
kid.
we don't know. Like, it's all that. The only thing that's going to change our opinion on or the storyline, make us following along, is kind of like what the coaches are saying, like after the game or during the week, or like all those cuts we get. But like actual gaming stuff, excuse me, from the game, we're not gonna get anything. So unless there's like some crazy storyline out, and really what did it now is that Thomas Brown has been kind of ruled out because we've seen the performances. Now there's literally nothing storyline within the actual game that we're looking for. So that's why I said it's at 2025 yet, because it's like, oh man, all the fun like hope is kind of just stripped away. So
I try to mute myself here because I have a cough. And I'm trying to
close.
mute myself. I've done it twice now where I thought I muted myself and I'm letting it out. I apologize
all
for
good.
Apple
Stick of the
podcast
team.
listeners. Yeah, it's going to scare the crap out of people.
Speaking of coaches, I went out last night. I not even joking. This is on my mom's life. I'm like 50% sure I was sitting right next to Mike Vrabel. So I live out in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. I am almost.
You didn't take a photo?
That felt weird.
like, were you like right next to him, like kind of
investigative journalist?
I was right next to him.
Duty.
Like, this dude paid for the whole table and stuff. It looked. He was wearing a vest too, which I'm like, Vrabel's a big vest.
He's a
guy.
vest guy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
sort of a
gotta be him.
caveman
He's a
head
big
look,
guy. He's a
taller
big
ears.
guy too.
Well, that's the thing. Is like he's a 6'4". Like I would assume
Yeah, you can't
we're
miss him, yeah.
nearing 300 pounds. You know, he's an
Yeah.
former offensive lineman.
Oh, he's
Didn't
probably
really give me
250.
that vibe. Taller brother, but like I don't know. It looked just like him. Like I feel bad.
I wish
That
you
was
didn't tell me that
real.
because I'm very disappointed in you for not taking a photo, sending this out on Twitter, getting Bears Twitter jacked up.
Yeah, except this guy's
what
name is
happened to my
probably, like,
Jack? That's
His
not
name's
my
probably,
Jack.
like, Tom, and he works
22
at
years
Steve
old,
Jobs.
and you've lost your touch, man. You lost your fastball
It's
because
Tom
this is
from
disgusting.
Yeah, like it's like the completely opposite guy.
Right, he's like
You're
a
the-
pharmacist, and this guy here is just like I was eating dinner and I'm all over Twitter.
3
and,
months
like, I
ago,
got
yeah,
you
3 months
posting
ago, you're
about-
all over the body language for DJ Moore, and now it's like you just,
You should've
again,
showed-
you lost
Jack, you
your
should've-
fastball.
You should have showed him your badge, your credentials, and be like, hey, snap.
I wish I knew where that was. I know. I was
Yeah.
like, we were gonna really pull all the tricks out of the bag, just see how like Mike, and then like see if he turns or something. It'd probably
done
scare the
that
shit out of
before.
me if it was. Yeah,
No,
but I
that's a
thought
good
about
one.
it.
You
I
just don't
wanted.
look that way.
I didn't know if I'd get arrested for this, but like when you put the bill down because he paid for it, like I said, put the bill down, and then they left. Like you open the receipt and see what the name is. on there.
I think it only shows last 4 of the card. That's not illegal.
Oh, excuse me,
frowned
not
upon.
frowned
Yeah,
upon.
I
I
wanted
think,
to-
as I said,
I mean,
probably
I would-
frowned upon, but you're
But
it's
I
not
mean, you
illegal.
went low before, and so
I've gone lower. I'll tell you one thing. I've gone lower than everything I'm describing right now. I have real quick.
Well, yeah.
Phil, shout out Phil for this. Mike, we'll get into this at some point in a future pod. Fuck the Mike Vrabel stuff, dude. I'm surprised you guys aren't like that's DEFCON 1 type hire.
I just don't think
No,
it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's not. There's the Bears have had way worse, so like it's not my number one option, but that's still I think on the list.
He reminds me of like a
top five.
Lovie Smith type.
Oh man, I have this horrible fear, and I think you're right, Dave. Is that's what's going to happen, and that'll make me
Mhm.
sick to my stomach again. I appreciate the leadership that he has, but like,
Yeah.
fuck, that is not.
No, I just think you got to go offensive.
No, but I think
100%.
the talk inside Hallis Hall from like a lot of the beat reporters and things like that is like it's offense focused. Even I think was it Breer who dropped his piece on Monday. He talked about how it was going to be offensive focus too. So it seems like at least the narrative around it right now, it could be a smokescreen, is that they're probably going to go offense. So I don't think you got to worry about that.
Yeah. What's my headline? Let's get to it. Wonderful time of the year. I don't even know why I said this. It's Christmas, maybe. I don't know.
That's probably it.
Yeah,
Irony?
meaning, yeah, the irony of it. Yeah, it's more like an irony, like what the hell, you know? So bad headline for me. If you think
Bad
you know
too.
what it means, that's probably what it means. And I'll leave it at that. So.
Oh, he's muted.
Oh my god!
we
this
got
guy,
him.
amateur season.
We get him out.
It's lagging. It's not
Remember what I
me, I'm
said,
lagging.
man? You've
Lagging.
lost your fastball. You've lost your slow ball.
That's literally what I was just said. Is you lost your fastball in the headlines? I just said that's what I was saying. You lost your fastball.
Oh.
You used to be the guy who was
That's
like
That's true. That was probably your weakest.
If I could have heard it, that would have been well done. That would have been
good. yeah. If the audio.
We'll go back and you can read my lips. I said it. The boys got me. When it rains, it pours. Again, everyone in the chat saying the same thing to it. I do sound like a depressed baby this whole pod, but like at this point, it's like every other headline prediction, bold take, whatever. I've always been like Caleb throws 7 billion yards this game, like shit like that. And so now I'm trying to like be like, let's be real. Maybe I'm the curse. I would love to be the curse. If we just go out and we smoke the line and we like see like awesome Caleb, cool. But like, yeah, I
don't want to win this game. I'll be honest. I don't really want to win this game.
There's nothing that it does. I mean, from a player standpoint of bringing a winning culture, but like you're gonna have a new coach.
Oh hell no! That winning culture's not the win. Yeah. At least for this year.
Actually, speaking of that, we might as well. We need an update on Tankathon to see where we're at. So right now we're at 9, 4 and 10. So Jets. So teams that can bump up above us. Because I need to see strength of schedule too. We are 559, so no one's going to jump us there. Okay, so the only person, so if the Jets win, we'll go to 8 this week. Everyone else, even the 3 win teams, if they win because they have lower strength and schedule than us, we'll still stay at 8. So just a heads up, because we do have such a strong schedule. So
I mean, as long as it's, I would love to get in the top 5, but as long as it's top 10, which we should be a lot.
Oh yeah, no, we're almost locked.
I would love to see us flirt with like for pick 5. That'd be sick.
That's what I said.
Yeah, pick 5. So who you'd want to root for this week? New England, Jacksonville, Carolina, Tennessee, Cleveland, Jets.
God, they have about it. The chances of them winning is just so low too. The Bears are.
What you're hoping is maybe some of them are playing each other. So like how the Jets played, I think it was Jacksonville. So one of them had to move. So
what if we would have lost? If we would have lost the Tennessee game, we'd be flirting top pick.
It's so sad to think about because we're like so happy when we did win it because obviously it was early in the season.
It was important at the time. How it went to 4-2, after Jacksonville in London. So, anyways. But hey, I think that's all of our game preview stuff. I think so. We got about 10 minutes here, 13 minutes left. We're gonna go ahead and I have 2 questions for you boys. I've sent them before, so I'm sure you've had time to speak or think. Gosh, can't talk right now. So I'm gonna start with Ficky here. I have 2 questions. The first one, I'm gonna reveal only the first one, and I'll go to the second one. So the first one is I want to know who the biggest disappointment this season is for the Bears. And I'm not talking, it has to be player oriented. So I'm not talking flus. I'm not talking like the biggest disappointment of the 2024 season player wise is who, Ficky, and why?
Okay. So biggest disappointment is Montez Sweat, but I want to put an asterisk because I think there was some injury concerns from that. But when you're just looking at overall impact, right, especially with like the sack numbers, even though that's not end all be all, has been that. But to also bring this up, right? Because sacks aren't everything, right? Pressure is very important. Did you guys know this? The Bears have the top 6 defensive line when it comes to pressures, like pressure percentage, right? So the amount of times from snaps that they are applying pressure. The problem is they're top 6 in getting pressure rate, but they're bottom 4 in those turning into sacks. So we're getting to the quarterback. And we saw that with Montez Sweat. Like last game, he almost had 2 sacks, right? Couldn't get him down, right? So I think that's my biggest disappointment. Like if he was flirting around like 9 or 10 or something like that, even with the injury, missing some games, you'd be like, okay, that's like a pretty successful season. But I think all of us can agree that like from a metric standpoint, not from like a coaching, looking at the film standpoint, but a high level view, that's probably the most disappointing. I say all that to then end it with, I still don't think that's a major reason why this team is garbage. It's not like I'm not looking at when we do our review and then going, well, if Montez would have had 10 sacks, like if he would have got to double digits, this team would have had a chance. That is not the case. So, but like from a pure high level statistical standpoint, I would have to say Montez Sweat is probably the biggest disappointment for me.
That's interesting. I may have to switch mine, so I'm gonna let Jack go here.
Oh, did I steal yours? My bad.
Oh, yeah, I was actually going with Montez, but
my bad.
I have a couple backups because I knew I wasn't going first. So, Jack, tell me why or tell me who and tell me why this Bears player for 2024 is your biggest disappointment so far.
Instantly, number 13 pops in my head, Keenan Allen. Again, we signed him at coming off his, I believe, the best year of his career.
Correct.
Like 1,200 yards, Pro Bowler, and now he's at 500 total yards on the season. So I just feel like when we initially received Keenan Allen and then he went to Caleb's Pro Day and like it was all this hype, and we're like, again, this is a 1,200-yard receiver, like first time off his old team, coming to a new team, like this is gonna be something special. It has not been at all. Another thing with that is like the drops are really brutal. And again, I get like he's made some really good catches, really nice catches, and had some good
Good.
Jack was reset.
Yeah, and I lost my train of thought. So
Keenan Allen, he had some brutal drops.
Keenan Allen had brutal drops. He's had some decent games. He's definitely helped Caleb out here and there on certain things, but just overall as a whole, I think that we believed we were signing like a top 10 receiver in the league for this season, and it just has not even been close, to the point where I believe I speak for all Bears fans when I say if he were to not have been on this team up until this point, nothing would have changed. He hasn't done much that like has drastically helped or hurt us.
Can I add something onto it though? I think I agree, like disappointing season, especially from Keenan Allen's standpoint. But this team would be worse. Like he leads the team in touchdowns. We can barely get those. Like I get he's at his drops and whatnot. Yeah. No, you're right. Like coming off 1,200, this is definitely disappointing. I'm not arguing that at all. Like even if there's some regression, we were hoping to get like 800, 900. He's not projected that. He's projected like 700. So I agree with your choice. It's just funny because in the same light, he's kind of been our best wide receiver. Like you think of like third down conversions, like who has Caleb been targeting more than anyone? It has been Keenan Allen. So it's just funny how like on twofold, it's like, yeah, he has not lived up to his par, but this passing offense has been so bad that like the whole thing's disappointing. But that's a good one, Jack.
Yeah, it's a good one. So like I said, I had a couple in mind. I'm gonna. It's when I was trying to go through the players, like I was trying to balance expectations. So people that had the players that just had higher expectations, of course, have a lot more to lose, especially if they don't perform. So I mean that causes more disappointment, you know. So for me, Montez Sweat was up there. I thought I know there's been some injuries, but it's just been a little disappointing for me. Like just not what I expected, especially the tear that he had when he was here. When he first got here, I mean, he was unreal. Looked like a really unstoppable player at times, almost Khalil Mack-esque, and it's like regression. It's been a lot of regression this year. And so, again, injuries, who knows? But I'm with you, Fick. Jack, Keenan's shocked me. I'm not going to lie, because I know he has not been Keenan Allen, but it's like he's still been very productive, you know, very, very productive outside of like, especially in the end zone. So, but I get it. I would love to see if he wasn't on this team, where would Rome be at? Because he's already at like 700 plus, receiving yards as a rookie, or he's close to it.
Yeah, he's like six and some change.
But he's having a pretty good rookie year, especially when you take in the fact that there's so many mouths to feed, I guess, especially DJ, Keenan come to mind. I thought Cole Kmet would be another big piece in this offense, but that's been a disappointment. But mine right now, I'm going to go back to the defensive side. It has to be Tremaine Edmonds. I think the contract he signed, it was pretty lucrative. Of course, TJ Edwards, I think, is having a very good year. Not like he's regressed a little bit, but last year was hard to tie. He had a great year. Yeah, but there's been moments where I see TJ. With Tremaine, the biggest thing and why I'm disappointed is because he's 6'5". He's supposed to be fast. And I just don't see him covering the ground like he did last year. And even at times when he was in Buffalo. And so the way he's just not fast as I thought, especially and the guy being 6'5", he doesn't get enough hands on the ball. So for me, just this year all around, it's just been disappointing with him, especially when you take in the fact how much he was paid and then the factor in the production that we expected. And I think there's been a big regression in regards to his play. And I don't know why. It's weird. I don't get it. Because TJ Edwards is pretty good. Jack Sanborn's a very, very good, for when he comes in. But for me, the production is what's disappointing with Tremaine Edmonds. So before we kind of move into my next question, what are you guys' thoughts on Tremaine and my pick here?
I had him as my number 2, so it's kind of funny how we had the same.
Yes, football.
I was gonna go. My top 3 was gonna be Montez, Tremaine, and then I was gonna go Cole Kmet. So those could be my top 3. So
I think Tremaine's a great one. And for the Keenan stuff, real quick.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. For the Keenan, it's just like what I was meaning, because I would bet, I don't know the number, I would bet that he leads our team in targets and probably receptions. I know DJ gets a lot of freaking RPO catches, but like what I'm saying is if we're the Bulls and we get LeBron, right? Like, and LeBron is our leading scorer, but he's scoring 10 points a game. It does not mean he's meeting our expectations. It just means he's leading a bad team. So like, I think the expectation for Keenan was like, we're getting those 60 to 80 yard games every single week. We're getting that 6 to 9 receptions per game. Like it's that kind. So does that make sense? Like that's sort of what I meant. Like I get that he's leading our team. It's just like not in the efficiency that he was last year in LA.
Yes, I just looked at the receptions. So DJ leads the most.
Listen to this. Let me go through the stats real quick. Oh,
I think you're a little delayed. So we were talking at the exact same time. If you have it up, go ahead. I was going to do the exact same thing. Go ahead, Dave.
No, you go ahead. No, I'm glad you have it up. I insist.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, DJ Moore leads the team with 76 receptions for 758 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an average of 10 yards per reception. Right, and that makes sense. He has had a lot of screenplays. That's how you should be getting the ball, right? Well, that should be part of the bag of how he gets the ball is at the line of scrimmage because he's very dynamic there. So some of those receptions are going to tag up. Second in receptions is Keenan Allen with 53, 553 yards, 6 touchdowns, which leads our group, and a 10.4 average. So really, his numbers are like the exact same as DJ's if you were to just feed him the ball 20 more times because they both average 10 yards per catch. Right behind them is Rome Odunze with 47 receptions, 624 yards, 3 touchdowns, an average of 13.3. So he's definitely getting more depth of target, definitely getting more average yards. You love to see that, but less of the receptions. But when you look at it from a macro level, like the distribution is pretty even and the yards are pretty even. So you have about, they're all at least 600 to 700 yards. They're all 50 to like 70 receptions, and they all have 3 to like 7 touchdowns. So Caleb has actually done a pretty good job of distributing the ball other than to Cole Kmet. So, I still
think it's interesting. Go ahead.
I was gonna say last thing. I do agree with Jack on it is disappointing, especially when you come in like off your best season. It's Keenan Allen. He always gets 800, 900 yards. That's what he's done. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So I definitely understand that. But then I see these numbers and I'm like the passing game isn't great overall. That's a different discussion, like the rate of passes and how many yards all of them should have, right? But how the yards are distributed and the receptions, I'm almost like, wow, that's actually kind of impressive what Caleb has been able to do. He has not focused on one particular player to where he's force feeding someone. He's going through his progressions and passing it to the open person. Every play, probably not. But when you look at it from a high level, that's what the data would show. So I think some of that regression is on Keenan. Some of it is going to be, that's what happens when you draft a top 10 wide receiver to come into the room, and then you already had wide receiver 1 in the room. So just to say that from a macro level, maybe, this was something you were expected to see, but you were hoping to see like at least 300 yards added onto all of them. Like the passing game should be that much better because we had games where you threw the ball for 90 yards, 150 yards, 170 yards. So,
yeah. No, I agree with all that. I was going to say this could be a pro or con here, but between Keenan's played 2 less than Rome and DJ.
It's a good point.
Because of that injury early on in the season, which can be a pro because of injury, or it can be a pro because his production's been pretty dang good, especially when you take into account he's played in 2 less games. Because DJ and Rome both played 14.
Well,
Keenan's at 12.
What? Also, DJ missed a game and Rome missed a game. I thought Rome missed a game. Did he not? No, am I tripping?
No, he almost did with that. And when he had that scare, he ended up actually playing. So
you're right.
But yeah, 14 games for both DJ and Rome, and then 12 to Keenan, which is a pro or con, depending on how you look at it, as far as production and also durability and availability. However, last year in 12 games, I think he had his best season ever, and so Keenan is he can be an animal in some games as far as production goes. So I agree with it. I think it's an interesting one, Jack. but I think there's just so many. There's so many.
That's the problem. That's the problem because we're bad.
There's so many.
I was just thinking
that. So boys, I don't know if we want to. I have one more question. I'll leave it up to y'all. Do we want to get to this final question, or do we want to kind of wrap the show and save it?
We, you know what? Let's save it because the pre-games.
Let's do it.
We gotta have some. We gotta have some stuff because the pre-games. Sorry, y'all. The pre-games are not exciting from a preview standpoint. I'm assuming
this is a good one,
y'all, because we haven't been good. So
yeah, and this one I think is going to be. It's a lengthy discussion. I would say just a. It may probably the same as what we just did here. So
yeah.
So
it might be into our next
little cliffhanger.
Our next pre-game show because we'll have a question about who has surprised us the most. I'm assuming that pool of players is much smaller than those who have disappointed us because we are
absolutely.
Before we head out to Jack, we have the topics for Let me see.
I can't hear you, Jack. Oh, now you're good, but you're back. Whenever we throw on our little music at the end of the show, it always does
my
that.
Bad. Yeah. My bad. I was going to say, do we have the shout outs we can do before we head out here real quick?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, here it is. I'm already not paying attention. Okay, Gage, our Hall of Fame Patreon member here with the hashtag OG. We appreciate that, Gage. Thank you so much. We got Phil in here, definitely OG in here. Hashtag OG. Detroit is a shithole. In peril, I saw you in here earlier with the hashtag, I'm going to say hashtag OG because you are one, and hashtag FML for being a Bears fan, and FGB. You're right. FML is definitely spot on. And then we have a new one in here. Thank you so much. Made Man K-Dub. K-Dub, what's up? Welcome to the BFR podcast, the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, with the hashtag New Face Gang. We appreciate that. Thank y'all for tuning in. What a great show. Can't wait.
Yep.
Can't wait.
We'll be back Sunday. We play at noon? Yeah, so we'll be back. This is a typical game. So we'll be on around 4 o'clock. Recap. Go through it with you guys as far as just discussion, our instant reactions, Bears versus Lions. And so you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll be back on Sunday. And of course, it's almost Christmas. So as always, bear down, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.